Hello, you lot. Hope you're all doing fantastically well. It is Connor here. We're back with another episode, another One Leeds video. The content is flying out at this moment in time, as I keep banging on about, but I hope you're enjoying and all that good stuff. It's a bit of a wet, miserable day today, but head on over to the Room Mill, Leeds United news from earlier on. We're speaking about loads of different rooms, and this video is going to be a little bit different. We're going to be talking about targets, plans, and rumoured 49ers sort of absolute necessity in getting up at the first time of asking when it comes to Leeds United. So I'm really interested to get your thoughts today. I know you're all going to be in the comment section. Evening, Hugh. How you doing, mate? Connor Relentless with the live videos. Yeah, mate. Evening. Hi, guys. Hope you're all doing okay. Smack it a like. Loving the consistency of content output, mate. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Adam. Really appreciate it, mate. And guys, as I say, if you could do us a massive favour and go check the video out earlier on, it's definitely worth it. A nice little stream that you guys will enjoy, definitely. Hi, Gail. But yeah, I didn't want to just sit here and be down and glum and just, me and Gabe have just done a really, really, if I might say so myself, a really good podcast on the Patreon account, over an hour long, talking about everything football. And we finished it off with some bits about Leeds. The debrief will be tomorrow as well. But it got me thinking, it got my creative juices flowing again. And I remember at the start of the season, I was trying to pinpoint certain players who I think could really fit into this Leeds United side. And I wanted to do something similar this evening and just basically emphasise the fact that Leeds can do something positive in this window. They can do something which is going to impact the squad greatly in terms of quality, calibre, but, quantity as well, getting additional bodies in there that are going to aid, it feels like at this moment in time, the constant injury, plague that is happening with Leeds United. So, yeah, let's get into it anyway. So the positions that we're looking at in particular with Leeds at this moment in time, as we all know, in my opinion, as central attacking midfielders, it's naturally going to be a left back as well. And I think they're the positions that are going to be the focal points for the Leeds United recruitment team, you could argue. Now, what I wanted to do initially is speak on the potential of players going out. Now, I think this is going to happen. I personally think that you are going to see Jaden Anthony going back to Bournemouth, not even involved at the weekend. Which is crazy, really, when you think about it. But what I will say is, there is now a likelihood, and even though people don't like it, for me, there is a likelihood that we could see Luis Sinister in a Leeds shirt again. How do you feel about that, Connor? I would welcome it. I know a lot of people aren't going to find that popular, but football is a business. Football is ruthless, and I don't care. If he gets my football club to the Premier League with X Factor, he can then go and leave in the summer. I don't care. But I think we're going to see something very, very similar there. I think we're going to see Jaden Anthony going back to Bournemouth, and I think that's going to be the straight off January plan. It might not happen, but that's what I think will happen. I don't think Bournemouth are going to be happy with what's gone on at this moment in time. The minutes that he's getting, I think they believe that his calibre is a lot higher, and I bet there are other Championship clubs that would have Jaden Anthony, in my opinion, and that will play him way more regularly, especially in that playoff spot. And he's not really been given a chance. He's been given Stoke, if we're being brutally honest, and nothing else. So how is he supposed to, after this guy spent, 3 or 4 Premier League games starting for Bournemouth, albeit them having a few injuries, he's now come to Leeds United and he's getting 5 minutes, 7 minutes, and then he's not even in the squad. So it's a really, really difficult one to look at when it comes to Jaden Anthony at the minute. I just don't see him progressing at Leeds United, and it's a real shame because I think this is where the trust with Daniel needs to come in. The trust of all these players that are on the periphery who could have an impact for Leeds United. Now, the whole Sinister debacle, I can see a lot of you guys are not happy with it. That's just my opinion. I'm ruthless with it. I don't care. I was the one who was talking about Nonto, and I was saying, look, it doesn't bother me as much. If he fires my team to the Premier League, I could not give a you-know-what. I think it's despicable what he's done. But if he comes back and he's used as an asset, and the fans, might not get back on side with him, I probably wouldn't get back on side with him. But at the same time, I do not care. If Sinister is used by Leeds, fine. He used us as a move to the Premier League, but if that loan move collapses and then we use him, I don't give a you-know-what. So what? Use him, get the best out of his footballing abilities, let him upgrade in terms of caliber, get all the minutes on the pitch for Leeds United, sell him on in the summer, get a really good feedback for him. We all move on. Everybody is happy. In this scenario, Leeds don't lose for me. Leeds do not lose. It's all sentiment about him coming back and putting on that white shirt again. For me, and I'm a bit ruthless with it, and I always have been, as I said, the Nonso thing, I was on here saying to you guys, I don't care. I don't care if, whatever. Yep, he's done what he's done. Fine. Get him back in. It's a disgrace what he's done, but get him back in and prove on the pitch that he's going to, fire us back. Sinister is in the exact same bracket for me. If he comes back in January, I don't care. He's going to be the best player in the division by a country mile. So I really don't care. And as I say, if we can reinvest the money we get for him, if he does really well in the Championship, look at the profile that we've now given Rutter. Look at the profile that we've now given Somerville. All these players, Ampadu, all these players are going to go for higher values, really much higher values because of how they've progressed with Leeds United in the Championship. If we were to move them on ever, I'm saying their transfer value is exponentially increased. That is exactly what would happen again with Sinister for me if he's in the Championship, banging in goals, banging in assists for 6 months. Now, there is another likelihood here that if Sinister was to come back to Leeds United, he would turn around and say, right, well, this move's flunked. I was okay at Bournemouth, which I don't think he will have been, but I want to move again. That is another very, very likely scenario, unless Leeds dig their heels in. But as we know last time, Sinister was trying to take Leeds to court. So it's a little bit different. It is a little bit different. Gavin says Cine would not swap benches. Gav, do you genuinely think Sinister is going to... I don't know if it's just banter, but do we think Sinister, if he was to come back, and look, let's put sentiment to the side a little bit, do we genuinely believe he's going to come back and sit on our bench, quality-wise, caliber-wise? Mate, he'd be straight into that starting lineup. We know he would be. Look, he is. He's better than all of them. And that's genuinely how I feel with that guy's caliber. But at the end of the day, I understand the sentiment, and I understand people didn't like what he did. I didn't like what he did. But if he comes back and Anthony's to go the other way, I'd like to see more from Anthony, but we're just not going to see it with Farke because he evidently doesn't trust him, Gruev, Nonso, and the like. So Bournemouth are going to demand, in my opinion, to get him back and probably send him out to another Championship club potentially, or put him on the bench for Bournemouth, and he's probably going to get exposed to more minutes in the Premier League. It's not really a scenario I think that he's going to be entertaining, to be honest. Mr. Start, mate, but good to catch you live. Yeah, hey, mate, how's it going? You get a proper season ending injury. The guy's made of paper. Make Cine pick the litter up round Thorpe Arch first. If we get Cine back, that's Somerville as a 10 for sure. Exactly, mate. And listen, he's Remy said it as well, and he hasn't been injured this season, Sinister, and there's potential. There is a potential likelihood that he would come back and he would get injured or whatever. But there's also a potential that he scores 12 goals. There's also a potential that he gets eight assists, 6 to 8 assists. He's way too good for this division, So it's going to be fascinating to see, but it'll be a shame to see Jaden go. But yeah, I think that, that would obviously, as we know, would mean that Cine would come back the other way. Steely says, feel back for Anthony. The lad hasn't done much wrong with limited minutes he's played. Yeah, I agree. And, as Gail said here, he is class for sure. And it's going to be it would be like a new signing, wouldn't it? And as a lot of people have said, you could play Somerville in the 10. But right now we could play Nonso in the 10. We could play Somerville in the 10 and put Nonso on that side. I'm not saying you should do that with the productivity that Somerville has had, but Daniel Farke still has options. We know this. He's still got options. It's just about adapting and changing and being pragmatic, as we know. We know with the in-game management, he needs to adapt a little bit, but the utilisation of substitutes has to be better. We all know it. We're all thinking it. You're probably saying it to your mates. Look, it's okay where we're at this moment in time, but what is it? Is it 12 wins in 22? Think about that. 12 wins in 22. And I'm not throwing him out to the wolves. I'm just saying take that statistic in. Take it in. Yeah. I know a lot of people will get upset about that, but the facts are the facts. And we are where we are in the division, but I do think we need a bolster in January. So that's the first point that I wanted to talk about. The second point is a couple of signings that I will be looking at. Now, Leeds, as I keep mentioning, should be the bully boys in this division. I've mentioned it several times, and I think, as a recently relegated Premier League team, you should always go about your way in the Championship and throw your weight around and try pick up the best player. Now, Yasser Asprilla at Watford is someone who I spoke about before the window started, and I thought to myself, I wonder if he's going to have a productive season. Now, Yasser Asprilla can play as a cam. He can also play as a left winger as well, and he's doing really, really well for Watford this season. Watford obviously picking up a ridiculous 5-1 win at the weekend. 20 appearances, 4 goals, 2 assists, and as you can see here with Yasser Asprilla, in attacking midfield is where he's predominant, but he can be utilised on the left and can be utilised on the right. Another Colombian link, which is quite nice. It'd add to the Poveda link as well. And his career is going from strength to strength at the minute. Obviously, he's made the Colombian national team, played 3 times, got 1 assist. But Yasser Asprilla is someone who I was speaking about on the Patreon. He's someone who I spoke about pre-season on one of my videos. And he's someone who would really, really effectively fit into this Leeds United side. He'd be a decent value. Listen, Watford are Watford. They're in this team. They are in this league. They are probably one of the elite teams in terms of money. In terms of location. Obviously, players been attracted to go in near Hertfordshire, near London, and I do thoroughly believe that Asprilla in that Watford setup is someone who Leeds should be targeting, and maybe he wouldn't come up north to Leeds United, but if they can guarantee him minutes and that Cam can be his place. And he can be versatile as well on the left and right, and potentially even as a false 9. If you look at his attributes, that'd be a really, really lovely addition for Leeds United. And it'd be someone who, as I've mentioned previously, as the season started, Asprilla was one of my top players who I thought Leeds would be good going and getting. I didn't know how he'd do again this season. He's proven this season that he can do it again. And this is what I mean, everybody. We need to be looking at players who are in form. We need to be looking at players who are doing it in the Championship, who would transition into our side really nicely. Because you need to bring, when I say profiles, it's boring saying profile, but you have to add profiles. On and off the pitch, they have to be good characters, but on the pitch as well, they have to have attributes that's going to fit into a Daniel Varka system. Asprilla has that, and it'd be a really, really top addition, in my opinion. An attacking midfielder would be nice. The team really lacks it, might lessen the need for a 10. His creativity is lovely as well, mate. Real nice balance on his left and right. As I say, the fact that he can play left wing and right wing gives more feathers to his bow. It means that he's productive pretty much across the front line. As Tashin says as well, he's tall, and if we are to go long, if we are to beat a team's press, which we need to start frigging doing, if we start going long a little bit with Ilan Melli and our centre backs going long to a forward line, it'd be nice to have a tall player up there who can hold the ball, but also it can enable Leeds to push up as a unit as well and win the second balls in and around a tall sort of front 4 player. So Yasser Asprilla is one that I would definitely be looking at. I'd bully Coventry and take Callum O'Hare as our number 10 target. Yeah, I do like Callum O'Hare. I do. Surprising that he was starting on the bench actually, but so many options available for 10. Cameron says, "Hi Connor, have you seen the rumours of Cresswell going to Rangers on a permanent deal for around 5 million?" I have, mate. We spoke about that this morning on this morning's Room Mill, so go and have a look on that, mate. It wasn't to Rangers, but we had a big topic on Charlie Cresswell, a big discussion on Cresswell and his next steps really as a prospect at Leeds. Michael says, any chance we could bully Blackburn for Sammy Schmodix? Definitely, Michael, definitely. This is it. We need to start throwing our weight around a little bit. We need to, and this is a real opportunity for Leeds to do it. I think we did that to an extent in the summer months, but January is a real opportunity. Whilst Leeds have this golden nugget of Premier League, recency. Premier League recency, you need to utilise that. Recently relegated from the Premier League, and we're going back up. And we're still in a relatively good position in terms of, when a player is looking at Leeds United, when you're looking at the playoffs. The playoffs right at this moment in time, you might get an outside player saying, well, why would I come to Leeds United? Why? I'm not going to go back up to the Premier League. And then you can convince them, say, look, the playoffs are still something that we expect to win. We are the top team in the playoffs at this moment in time. We are going really, really nicely. We have more, if you want to utilise that Burnley sales pitch, we are on more points than Burnley were last season. We are still going very, very nicely. We've got a lot of good players. You would fit in really seamlessly here. So there's a big sales pitch at Leeds. There is a big sales pitch. So, but Sammy Schmodix is definitely an option there. Craig, thank you so much for your kind words there, mate. Really appreciate it. And guys, if you do want to go and check out some bonus content, we've got a podcast that's just been released today on the Patreon. $5 a month, and all proceeds go to the running of the channel. Playoffs are a lottery, form goes out the window. Yeah, but quality doesn't, Sam. Quality doesn't. So the next one, who we are all very, very, very aware of, extremely aware of, is this geezer. And I'm so bored of saying his name, but it feels like he is just absolutely perfect. Very different in terms of what Yasser Asprilla offers. Yasser's a little bit more dynamic, and that's why I think he'd fit in with your Rutters and your Somervilles. Elias Scher is very much of a creator. He's very much of a innovator. He's got cuteness to his game. He's got guile to his game. And I remember Leeds were quoted almost beyond 10 million. But is it worth 10 million? I mean, his productivity this season is very, very similar to Yasser Asprilla. I think where I'd give Yasser a little bit of a sort of tick box on Elias Scher is I think Yasser Asprilla would fit into the Leeds United setup much better in terms of that dynamism on counter-attacks. But what I do like about Elias Scher is just that absolute beautiful nature on the ball, how he caresses the ball. He's part of that, obviously, Moroccan national side as well. But mainly you want to see him in this attacking midfield spot here, and he really is a lovely, lovely player. Very much of he did very ill-disciplined there, actually, Elias. Can we need to calm down a bit there, fella? But as we know, very much of the Pablo Hernandez, Ben Rama, Buendia mold. And yeah, listen, he's a very, very decent player at championship level. Now, I guess the argument that you would have is, could someone like Elias Scher, why has he not made it in the Premier League yet? Why has he not made it in the Premier League? Scher's name has been around for a while now. He's still relatively young, but there's not really been anything in terms of development Premier League wise. Now, for me, with Elias Scher at 27 years of age, if you're looking long term, and 27 is not old, but I think Yasser Asprilla would honestly be my target. As I say, I think he fits in dynamically with that front four. I don't think his price tag is going to be as much as an Elias Scher. And also, I think being just 19 years of age and still producing like he was last season and like he is this season, he's a long-term Premier League option. And I think physically, he's a lot. So I think there's genuinely a real scope for someone like Asprilla there. But a lot of people are talking about Scher. A lot of people are talking about potentially a panic buy in January. But I probably would go for my first option over Scher. But Scher coming in would not be a problem for me whatsoever. Maybe he'd calm that attack down. Maybe he'd bring goals. Maybe he'd bring assists. And maybe he'd actually be a lovely, lovely equilibrium, a lovely, lovely balance to these absolute flyers going forward. But would someone like a Scher, and here's my question, would Scher fit perfectly with someone like Rutter and someone like Perrault? I don't think so. You've got Perrault drops back continuously, even when he's deployed as a 9, even when he acts as a number 9, he drops back. Rutter likes to pick up that area on the edge of the box, and I just see a bit of a conflict there. I think at least with someone like Asprilla, as we've mentioned before, he's going to be able to sort of like dynamically interchange and fluidly move along that front four. I don't know if you can have a Scher thinking about it when you've got a Perrault in the side and when you've got a Rutter in the side, because they will all mould into the same position. And then the argument is who is in and who is out. So yeah, a lot to talk about. Johnny F, Gabby Sarah. For me, Gabby Sarah plays a little bit further back. I'm not 100% sure I'd have Sarah in as an out-and-out number 10. But yeah, definitely something to consider. Now, as you guys know, I am not part of a recruitment side whatsoever, but I do watch a lot of championship football, and it does get rather monotonous when I'm doing that. But another player that has stuck out to me as a left back is Cameron Pring. Now, 25 years of age, decent height, I sound like Marcelo Bielsa here, don't I? Good left leg. He's playing for Bristol City at this moment in time. He's an experienced player. Can play centre back, can play left back, but he is a really, really talented player, in my opinion, and someone who could definitely make the step up to the Premier League. I'm a massive fan of Pring. I think he's very decent going forward. I think at this moment in time, Liam Manning is restricting him a little bit when it comes to their formation. I think Pring is always miles better when he's been asked to go forward. I think his defensive capabilities are very, very good. I think he'd be available on the cheap. And as I've just mentioned before, 1v1 defending, he is very, very good. Now, Cameron Pring will be available extremely cheap, in my opinion. And once again, these bully boy tactics that Leeds United could really, really uses their advantage in the Championship. He's a really, really nice player. He's had a couple of changes with Naismith at left back. For Bristol City was obviously Naismith score against Leeds United at Ellen Road, but Pring is the left back in the Championship that I look at and think, yeah, he could make that step up. He really could make that step up. So for me, one of those targets would really enhance Leeds United's chances going into the latter part of the season. Leeds United Calypso said, "I like your shout of Obafemi as a striker from Burnley." This is someone who I mentioned about sort of 2 or 3 months ago. Obafemi's not getting any minutes. He's done it with Swansea before. We've seen him interlink with Yoel Perot. I know it's a different system, but they know each other's games a little bit better. Once again, that D word, dynamic. He's very, very dynamic, very, very quick, and he's such a different profile to what we have right now. He's off the shoulder of the centre-back, and he's rapid and a number 9. That is another profile which we could utilise. So there are a lot of names out there, everybody, a lot of names where Leeds United can really, really infiltrate. And I don't want to be going into this window with fans telling me and telling others that, we can't do anything. We can't do anything. The hands are tied. We've done everything. Leeds can do stuff, and we can do it, in my opinion, for really, really good value. These are not, at a lot of sort of mid-low clubs in the Championship, there are a lot of decent players. And as you guys will do, you'll watch Championship football. There are availabilities there for Leeds United to really go and enhance this squad and get the profiles in that make us more balanced and make us more realistically, viable really for promotion. Because I think at the minute with this squad right now, I don't think it goes up. I don't think it doesn't go up automatic anyway. There's too much missing for me. There's too much missing. But yeah, there's definitely productivity there, everybody. But I'm going to leave it there, everybody. It's only going to be a quick one from me. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've learned something. I hope, you've had a nice little time in the comment section. But, this is off the back of the rumours that apparently the 49ers are wanting promotion back to the Premier League at the first time of asking. So if you want some bonus content, watch the Room Mill from earlier on this morning where we talk about loads of stuff, including Charlie Cresswell, Willie Yonto and all that sort of stuff. And we've got a podcast over on the Patreon now, which is live and kicking. Guys, absolute pleasure. Once again, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Agree or disagree, let me know in the comment section below. And I'll see you in a bit. Cheers.